So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his third down plays. They'll come to the line here needing 9 yards to pick up the first. On third down, it's Prescott. Escaping the pressure, and he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Multiple defenders getting to him there for a huge loss. This is up and good from Pinheiro. And that will extend their lead even further. So that almost certainly the final piece to this puzzle, a 3-score lead. I don't think there's any coming back from there.
Well, you know, normally I'd get on you for giving up on the game right here, but I do think you're right in this case. This late in the game, 2 scores is tough enough. 3, I'm with you. That seems out of the question.
And Williams going to sit on this one. It'll be a touchback. Time for another look at this Lions offense. And their 4-game win streak very much in jeopardy as they go to work here late with a 1st and 10. Goff now to throw. They'll try and set up the screen to Swift. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26. To throw again on 2nd down. Goff. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. They'll wind up losing 3 here on the play. And that's going to lead to a 3rd and 12.
I thought that wasn't a bad time to call the screen. I thought late game, down on the scoreboard, had to figure they were expecting a pass downfield.
Yeah, so the edge rushers, they're coming. That could have hit big. You're right. Good recognition defensively to snuff that one out. Throwing on 3rd. Goff. And the Cowboys' pressure gets there this time for the sack. DeMarcus Lawrence in there to get him for a loss of 9 yards, and that also leads to 4th down.
So if we recount real quick, he had the touchdown earlier, and now he comes up with the sack here. No doubt about it, he's having himself a game.
Here comes the Lions punter now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Oh, it's a wobbler here. A special teams mistake there, no doubt. Just 26 yards officially on the punt. And the Cowboys are going to take over in great position here with a 1st and 10. The drive will start with an option going left. And he stopped immediately there. Throwing on 2nd down. Prescott.
It certainly didn't appear that that's where he wanted to go with the ball initially, so he tried to get something out of it by dumping it off to his running back unsuccessfully.
A 20th carry here for Elliott. And he can only manage to take this thing to the 38, well shy of the 1st down. Give him 3 yards there as that'll take us to 4th down. So now on comes the field goal unit, and wow, this is no ordinary try here. And he has got it from 55 yards away. That was never in doubt. That also a career-long kick for the veteran, Charles.
Yeah, how about what he just got done there? We always knew he had a big leg. But how about everything coming together perfectly on that one? Great leg swing, and bang that one through.
And Williams going to sit on this one. It'll be a touchback. And Detroit getting set to go now. They were coming off the extra week of rest, but this team started sluggish, and it really didn't get any better from there, and trailing big here in this 4th quarter. Goff and this Lions offense set for a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Oh, I'm not sure he saw the linebacker there as that's batted down and incomplete. Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Goff. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back. Complete. They'll come to the line needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. 3rd and 2. Goff. He's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a first down. They say he was out of bounds, so a big call there. That brings up 4th. And he's brought down. Can't do anything with a football. It's a sack and a turnover on downs. The Lions turned away on 4th down. And Dallas, they'll take over in terrific field position. Well, at this stage of the game in the second half, down 3 scores, I guess they felt like they needed to push.
And let's face it, with this deficit, if they give up another score here after they didn't get it, does it really matter?
Right.
It really doesn't. They had to go and try and make something happen if they had any chance of winning this game.
A give to Elliott. And able to work his way down to the 16.
And hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who was shaken up. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. Out of the gun, it's Elliott. And he'll take this one down near the 15. They'll try and run for it with Elliott. And he takes it down to the 13 and picks up the first.
Brandon, when a defense just simply can't get off the field on 3rd down, we all know how important that down is for both sides of the ball. You often feel like you're just a step behind whatever they're doing offensively.
And one of the differences in this game, no doubt, 3rd down conversion, and that is going to be a story they'll talk about after this one.
From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10.
They go to Elliott again. He'll get this down inside the 10 for a pickup of about 3.
It's 2nd and 7 from the 9.
Now Prescott.
A quick throw there going to be batted away and incomplete.
They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on 2nd down. To throw is Prescott. And he wisely will throw that one away. The kick by Pinheiro is good, and that will extend their lead even further.
Well, ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead.
Yeah, Detroit back in possession of the football. Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And, partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
To throw once more on 2nd and 10. Goff. And this one's incomplete. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Now Goff. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going.
That's an excellent job right there on 3rd down. Like any defense, you never want to let them get anything started, and that would have been a first down. Instead, you saw the contact on time, no penalty, and before this drive could get wings, it's 4th down.
Desperation time for Goff on 4th. And he'll let this one go deep for Chark. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. The Lions turned away on 4th down. And that will force a turnover on downs. So they've gone for it twice now on 4th down in this game, and both times unsuccessful.
I wish we could hear the headsets now between the head coach and the offensive coordinator. Now that they're 0 for 2, if they get into a 3rd situation, head coach might say, hey, you got anything for this one? Might get radio silence back.
A first down carry by Elliott. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it second down. Prescott to throw it. And this ball is caught by Lamb. Touchdown, Dallas. A great effort there. His 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Cowboys are looking to make it 2 straight as they add on to this 4th quarter lead. When coaches come into a game preaching total team effort, CD, I think this is the type of ball game that they're dreaming of. It was pretty apparent early on that they were clicking in all 3 phases. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes in the NFL you end up with matchups like we've been watching here. And when you go back to the early drives, you can just see that one squad was on a different level in this game. Safe to say, we have been disappointed watching their execution throughout this contest.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And Williams going to sit on this one. It'll be a touchback. The Lions offense set to take over. Charles, we know that this offense is aggressive. We saw that last drive. They went for it on 4th down, didn't get it. Then they give up the touchdown. So now you feel like they really need to respond here.
They certainly do, but let's face it. Sometimes when you take that risk, you understand if you fail, a little more onus goes back on your ball club to try and pick themselves back up.
And a penalty flag comes in as that one winds up incomplete, but the contact is going to move the ball well downfield. Well, obviously, they never want to see penalties on that defense, but this one a little bit more significant there on the downfield pass play.
And coaches preach it all the time. You can't put yourself in that kind of position if you're the defender. You got to stay in a spot far downfield where you can play the ball without creating extra contact.
Goff on first down. Steps away to his left. And seeing no options, he just tosses this one away incomplete. Now that'll bring up second down. To throw on 2nd and 10. Goff got St. Brown running the quick slant here. Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first. Goff on 3rd down. The open man is Shark. It's complete. And the Lions are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points. Goff now looking to throw. And this is caught. For the moment, it's a touchdown, but multiple flags down, so let's sort this out.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense.
So obviously they will decline the penalty there, and the result is 6 points.
That penalty is declined.
Michael Badgley on for the extra point. And the lead is down to 24. The drive summary that time, 5 plays. And the end result, a Detroit touchdown. So still lots of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick. And this one travels out of bounds, so unsuccessful there on the onside kick try. Well, CD, you understand. I mean, they're so eager trying to get back in this game here in the 4th quarter, but they touched that one a little too early before it went 10 yards.
Brandon, it's such a high-stakes scenario. Everyone's feeling the pressure on this play. The special teams coordinator, which one is he going to pick in terms of kicks? Can the kicker execute it? Can the team wait for 10 yards? So many variables, and in this case, they didn't get it done.
On 2nd down, Elliott once more. And he'll take this down just shy of the 25-yard line.
Holding, offense.
They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. Middle of the field, it's Robinson.
And he'll be marked down at about the 26-yard line.
Now I think we're going to get a timeout here. Yes, a timeout here as it looks like we've got a Lion that's shaken up.
While they come out and take a look at him, we will step aside for just a moment.
They got to get it to the 21 here on third down. Prescott now. And able to catch it on the left sideline, but they're going to rule him out of bounds. So it'll be incomplete. Certainly one they'd like to have back as it brings up fourth down.
And this is up and good from Pinheiro.
And that will extend their lead even further.
So the big return had them fired up, but in the end the offense stalls out. They only muster 3.
Yeah, the excitement was there after the return, but they didn't move the ball at all after that. They didn't even get a first down.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback.
Detroit's offense ready to take over. The offense running out, and they are charged up, ready to go after reaching the end zone on their last drive.
And normally I'd warn against getting complacent just because they scored the last time out. But I don't think there's any worries with this group right now. This is a hungry group, and they want to keep building off of their last drive. Now they just want the officials to hurry up and place the ball so they can snap it and get back to work.
Here's Goff.
We're going back to the same well. It's Hockenson again.
And getting this just shy of midfield. They'll spot it at the 49. Now Goff on first down. And a big loss here as he's taken down.
Micah Parsons
able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon.
Pardon my vocabulary isn't that great, but to me, there's only one word that fits this front seven today, and that's dominant. 4 and 5 sacks is already rare in one game. Getting to more than 6 in one contest while winning by this many points, an absolutely astounding effort by every player involved.
After the sack, they're staring at a challenge basically from the other side of town. It's second and a country mile.
Meanwhile, Goff's throw going into the hands of Williams.
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. They'll find Reynolds over the middle. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. They come up on a fourth down situation with things not looking particularly rosy. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and it'll be a turnover on downs. So they tried to go for it for pride, but it really wouldn't have mattered. This one, it was already determined.
No doubt about it. This one was over a while ago.
And now this offense comes back out onto the field. Now they are really in the driver's seat here, enjoying this lead late in the fourth quarter. The defense does have all 3 timeouts, but at this point, doesn't look like it's going to matter much. And now it appears that the referee's been buzzed, and we'll get a review. And this being inside 2 minutes of play, everything coming from up above. So the folks in New York just going to wind up confirming what the official saw, as this play will stand as is.
Up the middle, here's Elliott.
Oh, there's plenty of traffic waiting for him up the middle. But give him credit, he tried barreling through anyway. They're fortunate to get a yard out of that one.
Elliott going to get it again on second down.
And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. The line to gain is the 33 on third down.
No gain on the play. Brings up third down and 9.
The give is to Elliott. And he can only manage to take the football to the 40, and that is well shy of the first down marker. They'll give him a yard on the play, and that's going to bring up a fourth down.
The Kyle, as you think about this victory, pretty impressive. They came in facing one of the top defenses in the National Football League. Not only did they get the win, they played a clean football game, didn't have any turnovers against that great defense.
Yeah, it's a terrific observation because you know they emphasize ball security, wanted to avoid making any major mistakes playing against that tough defense, and they were turnover free and took points when they were available. Excellent execution, and they did it confidently.
So for the Cowboys, they move back over 500 now at 4-3. And they'll get to stay put for a few days as they'll host the Chicago Bears next week. Meanwhile, for Detroit, the loss will drop them to 4-2 on the year. And they will be at home next week to take on the Miami Dolphins.